Hi everyone, welcome to the channel for new battle report. We play another training round online. This time it was against Team Germany. Thanks a lot to them if they are watching the battle report. Thanks a lot to them for the training round. I think it was very enjoyable games and a good way to train in a competitive environment, and I like that a lot. So yeah, Germany had the pleasure to be paired against Furion for this round. Was quite happy about it, to be honest. I never had the occasion to play against him, and I was saying to my teammate before the pairing process that I would be happy to be paired against him. I think it could be a very interesting training game. So yeah, against Furion, my list for this round was the following. Basically, keeping the overlord, the setup of the character remains the same. The couple of bricks also, and then I bring back the Incarnate. Don't remember what was the last list I show you. Anointed, no gigantic model in this list except the Bastion. Furion was playing the following list, so very typical to the style of list that he's playing, usually with his Highborn Elf. We have a High Prince and a Griffin. Then we have a second Griffin, which is a Commander BSB. He was playing, his general was a Master of Kinetic Tower, just with a great weapon. Then he had an Adept of Pyro, so very strong magical setup. In core, he has basically 4 units of archers and then 5 Alien River with a champion. He has 24 Lion Guard, so this is going to be his main combat block with full command. Frost Phoenix, so a 3rd flying model, and then the 3 Sea Guard Reaper. We were playing Breakthrough on Encircle, and below you have the spell selection for both of us. Matchup analysis. So he has 3 flying threats, a lot of shootings, 1 light block. That's basically his list. 2 of his flying threats have a ward save against fire, so I need to keep that in mind. And basically for me, the game plan was more or less to threaten the Lion Guard with shooting, so to make sure they cannot really engage in any combat. If they got shot before, it's going to be too much for them. Organize counter charge if he can threaten me with single model with ward save against fire. I have for that the Overlord and the Strength 7 Torque Anointed are very good answer to that. I need to make sure that my range damage matters a lot, stop his advance, and mostly threaten his flyers between Blunderbuss and the magic. I'm going to play rather compact. Basically, I want to deny him mobility and secure my breakthrough, feeling that I shouldn't lose too many points from range damage because my army is very resilient, lots of wounds, not so easy to take points from me with his list if I play careful with the Overlord basically. So it shouldn't too easy to take me points, and at the same time also not too easy for him to attack my big units. Starting would make his potential aggression harder, I think, because then he needs to be, if he wants to come in front of me, he needs potentially to face my range damage. Estimation was slightly positive. I felt rather confident about the matchup. Deployment wise, so we're going to talk a bit about that because that's, I think, going to be the most interesting phase of this battle report. I won the role for side, and I picked a side at the bottom, which is, I think, for me the most interesting because I can play rather on the left, on the right, deny him to play around the hill, potentially use a wall either at deployment or later on, and also use a Rin. Keep in mind I have 2 Ghost Step units, so I can easily march into the Rin, take advantage from hard cover, while giving him an impassable in the part of the map where he's facing me. So no problem for me to go through the lake or through Rin. To the contrary, it could be very, very helpful for me. I think Furion recognized that, what I was trying to do, and he elected to drop for first turn and basically made sure that it just denies me the right part of the map. Deploying, facing him on the right would be a huge risk for me because I would take a lot of shooting in the face. I could try to jump in the ring with some unit and make really hard for me to, basically the odds would be very high in his favor with Bolt Taurus on the short range, all this shooting facing me, the brick in the right position, I would be in trouble. So I think that's what he wanted to do. That's why he plays all 3 Bolt Taurus on the right, Archer. That's just a simulation unit. He plays the Lion Guard. That's the BSB, the Griffin, High Prince, and the Griffin is here. A small unit of Archer, another big unit of Archer, and the unit of Alien River. So when I saw that, I found a way to deploy heavily on the left. Like I said, I felt the right side of the map is not so, it's way too risky for me to play him in a frontal way, with him starting, me having almost no cover and facing him. So I decided to go heavily on the left. First of all, what is going to break through in, what was my idea for the breakthrough was Vassal Levies, Anointed and Lugar. Lugar have breakthrough, they can march, I checked that, over the Impassable and end up here. So I'm not too annoyed by the Impassable, just losing a bit of ground. Here I placed the fast cav, so as you can see it's very compact. And here I played a bit with the ranges of the Bolt Thrower. So basically the only one that is out of range completely is the one in the back. But due to his deployment, I felt that basically if he wants to move this one to be in range next turn, he needs to move another one, and the other one is in range for something. So that's a bit annoying for him, because it forces him to move another one this turn and not shoot, despite the fact that it could shoot. So that's what I made with this brick, and then the Bastion is just in range for a single Bolt Thrower. The rest is completely out of range for the Bastion, nothing in range of the Incarnate. I know that they are quite vulnerable to his shooting, so that's why I'm going to use the heal to get some soft cover, maybe go on the heal. And I deployed the Overlord here. I know that the Overlord playing capabilities are somehow limited by those Bolt Throwers, so if he's playing on the left part of the map out of range, he will get more freedom, and is very good, I think a good counter to his Griffin potentially. Okay, let's move on to turn 1. So obviously he pushed towards me. He elected to move 2 Bolt Throwers, so he's only going to shoot with 1 Bolt Thrower this turn, and the rest just move a bit forward towards me, but he's quite far away. He elected to move here sideways. Here the unit is still here. I don't know why it disappears, maybe due to some simulation, and yeah, the Griffin moved sideways. In the Magic Phase, got +1 to hit on Bolt Thrower, and also Flaming Sword did I think nothing on turn 1 with the first Bolt Thrower. It did nothing. So nothing significant. My minimization of turn 1 worked. My turn 1, I start to push towards the left. So as much as I can, also push the Lugars that go over the Impassable. I also maneuver with the Overlord. So I just make sure that his Griffin cannot move into any interesting position towards the left, or also the right, where my Incarnate, while he is having ward save against fire, I could still block him effectively due to challenges, steadfast, and then bring the Overlord to get counter charge. So that's still something you need to respect. And basically I'm establishing the Blockus against Line Guard that are going to use the Rin, obviously, and these 2 single models that are going to go south, or trying to at least. I'm going to block them with the Blunderbuss and Magic. So basically I have all my range damage here to block his advance, while I'm trying to secure breakthrough on the left with the rest of my units. It's more or less that's the plan. Magic Phase, he dispelled Mark for Doom, and then I fail a Breast Weapon that I wanted to cast on the Incarnate that were in range to the Griffin. I know that I only wound on 6 and he has a 3+ ward save, but still if I managed to do wound, that was the only thing I could get due to the fact that we were still really far away. His turn 2, he moved the Phoenix all the way to the south part of the map, get into the Rin with the Line Guard. The rest just stays in place more or less. In the Magic Phase, he's going to get +1 to hit on some Archer. Shooting, he's going to get the Archer shot, I think, from the small unit here onto the Incarnate, do 1 wound. And then he's going to target with his Bolt Thrower and shooting everything into the bigger unit of Blunderbuss, going to kill 6 of them total. My turn 2, continuing to go slowly towards the north part of the map. Remember, it's big flank for me with Encircle, because I had the big center. So basically it's not so difficult to break through, but I kept the same. Here I managed to get a very nice wheel, completely out of range of the 3 Bolt Throwers. I'm on the hill, so I get reroll to the charge range. I'm giving a flank to his flyer, but I get the counter charge in the flank, so no problem at all. So I'm into a very good position to have the Incarnate to support those 2 units in case he would want to push harder towards the middle of the map. So quite happy about this position. Reform the Lugars to then move forward, and then I get my fast cav somewhere here. Just hidden. I don't want to give away any points. In the Magic Phase, I'm going to get Mark for Doom through on the Phoenix, but he's going to pass his ward save, and I'm out of range for shooting. His turn 3, Nothing too significant here, just move slightly back, doesn't want to commit due to the range damage. The same goes for the lion. I mean, I have chaff, I have a lot of shootings, so he considered that too risky, and he moves towards the middle of the map with the BSB, trying to go. He remarks that this zone is going to be too hard to attack, so he's trying to create something else and move to help the second Griffin. He moves one of the bolt thrower. I think I was able to deny him some range, so or maybe due to line of sight, but he moves one bolt thrower sideways, so he's going only to shoot with 2 this turn. In magic phase, I dispel the +1 to hit, get a big Raven swing on those archer that flies towards here. Yeah, he's going to get 3 breakthrough no matter what. I think he's completely into position, so I don't worry too much about that. So we get this unit to fly over, end up here. Okay, no problem for me. And then he's going to shoot at the Bastion with 2 bolt throwers. One of them wounding the Bastion. So I have soft cover and he has long range, so it's not so easy to do me wounds. I think he hits me on 5 up, so it's not so good. And he kills a couple of Infernal Warrior in the Bastion unit, so he starts to change target. I think due to the fact that, I think he wanted to start on the Bastion. I think that's the stat, but it's the stat for the 3 bolt thrower shooting at the Bastion. I think quite interesting. How much is the likelihood of hitting, wounding the Bastion? And yeah, like you can see, it's a bit 50-50, but that's when he shot with the 3 bolt thrower. In this case, he shot only with 2, so that's lower. But for the upcoming turn, I was curious to see how much shot are needed to basically kill the Bastion, and it takes a bit of time due to the soft cover and the long range. My turn 3, I march the Lugars, continue to move forward, so I'm preparing the breakthrough. The Lugars were my key piece to then push forward, because he cannot come into the Lugar when I have a counter charge. I move the Overlord to the side, and here I stay in place more or less. In the magic phase, I'm going to get a breast weapon, kill a couple of Lion Guards, kill 3. He dispels Gravecall and I fail Rot Within. His turn 4. I continue to move with his BSB towards the north part of the map. He prepares some breakthrough, stays where he is. This time doesn't move any bolt thrower to shoot me. Magic phase, he heal 2 of the Land Guard. Couldn't heal more due to the positioning of the archer, so I was too bothered by that. Get a Quicksilver Lash with 3 dice against my 6 dice, so very unlikely. He did another wound to the Bastion and 2 wounds to the Infernal Warrior. And then get Flaming Sword on bolt thrower. He got nothing this time. He elected to shoot everything at my Bastion, so it's this stat, this one here, and he got nothing, basically the 47%. So this stat here is the 3 bolt thrower shots all combined. So I got nothing this turn for him. A bit, that's how it is. So the Bastion is very tanky and it's long range, it's soft cover, so it's always annoying. My turn 4, I continue to move towards the north, covering all the angles for the Prince not to play. The rest, moves a bit sideways here. And I still cover the charge, the flank charge here long would be covered by the Lugar, so that's enough for me. In the magic phase, I got Gravecall, kill only 3 Lion Guards, so nothing crazy happens. His turn 5 and finally some action. So he elected to try out something to open the game. So he moves his High Prince here on the hill, out of line of sight of those guys here, which I think makes sense for him. I could have potentially turned those guys, reformed them a bit differently last turn. So obviously without Musician you're a bit limited what you can do. But yeah, he plays them here and basically gives me a charge for the Lugars. The idea is quite simple. If I charge here, I'm not going to break through. So he wants to tempt me to do that. He has a 3-up against fire, so he wouldn't die so quickly. So basically, not so good charge for me, and it's a long charge for the Overlord, like a 10 or 11 to get him, so not so easy. He plays his BSB as a counter charge and also a way to block me, so he's going to try out with these 2 flying model to block my breakthrough. Going to be interesting. He commits the Phoenix as well to not allow me to turn around too easily, and the same goes with the Land Guard that suffer a couple of casualties due to the ruin. So basically, if he wants to try that in the north part of the map, he needs to threaten me with other stuff, because without that my choices would be way too easy. So and as you can see, he did 1 wound. He did a bit more. He did 1 wound to the Bastion with bolt throwers and 1 wound with Quicksilver Lash. So I think that was it. Yeah, so he commit also the Phoenix, moves forward with the chaff, so the fast calf to do something maybe, and those 3 units are going to go for the breakthrough. This unit is still somewhere here. In the magic phase, I Binding Scroll Hereditary because I think it's a key phase where I see opportunities also for me. Figuring out the solution, where to keep my breakthrough. He had something in mind, and then realizing that it's going to be a key range damage phase because I can really do a lot of damage on this Griffin in the middle of the map. So Binding Scroll Hereditary, he gets a Quicksilver Lash, did another wound to my Bastion, and then he heals some Lion Guards. The Bolt Thrower do nothing to the Bastion. And shooting, he managed to kill some Infernal Warrior, I think 3 of them, and also 1 of the Vassal. Then my turn 5. So the solution I figure out is I need to secure the breakthrough. So those guys go in a column, in a big line, sorry, and I bring those guys in the back to basically, if he charge me, I can charge him. I'm on the hill, so it's an easy charge, pretty automatic, charge in the back. Despite the ward save against fire, it might be too much for you. I make sure that I am in the breakthrough zone with those guys. And here I go behind basically the Flying Griffin, so the Prince, sorry. Cannot charge into those guys. The charge is also impossible against the Anointed, and the charge is in the flank against him, so it's also impossible. So basically this guy can only charge the Lugars. The BSB can charge my Overlord, no problem against that, and can charge my Lugar as well, where I have the counter charge. So I felt okay, and basically with his positioning, flying move, he cannot come next to the Overlord, he can come here a bit forward, but basically this would allow me, at the moment 2 units are in the breakthrough zone, and this would allow me to move out with the Overlord and just slide on my turn 6, and make sure that I am in the breakthrough with 3 units. So the plan should be okay, and now the idea will be to do as much wound as possible to this Prince. If I kill him, that's even better. If I do 2-3 wounds, that could be enough for him to die then in combat, and I have the Overlord also positioned to maybe also get a counter charge. So yeah, could be quite interesting. It depends a lot where he obviously can try to go in my front with both model to make the charge impossible. Depends a bit also the result and so on. Yeah, so turn around here, I reform very wide to get a lot of shots on the Phoenix, and if he charge in the back of the Bastion, I could see him and counter charge him. He could chaff me obviously, but that would cost him a chaff. And here I use the chaff to chaff the Land Guard. They have no overrun into nothing significant, so into nothing at all. So basically just giving away the chaff to make sure I can get into all these positions without being threatened by the Lion Guard. Next, the magic phase. I'm going to get a Grave Call onto his Prince, and I roll 11 hits, strength 6, so I'm getting excited. Wound 9 times, but he's going to compensate that with a good amount of saves and ward save. And at the end we come in what is really average. It's 2 wounds on his Prince, so nothing crazy here on the Grave Call, so 2 wounds left. And then I shot with the Blunder, and as you can see, it's 29% chance I kill him. I managed to do that. The sequence was pretty funny because I shot with all the units. The BSB is out due to the ranges. Shot with all the units, did 1 wound. He had 1 wound left, and then the BSB did like 5 up, boom, boom, failed the save, and he dead. So really happy about that. Was slightly lucky, but as you can see, everything in the green area, so nothing to complain about. His turn 6, he cannot really be aggressive on the top part of the map anymore, so he moves away with the BSB. Land Guard move a bit. He charged me with the Phoenix to force terror check, and then some steadfast, move away with fast calf. In the magic phase, he's going to get +1 strength on the Phoenix, get a big flaming sword. The archer going to kill my fast calf. Close combat, I fail fear, he do some wounds, I think I did 1 wound back. As you can see with the Blunder shot, I managed only to do 1 wound, I had like 18 shots, something like that. So nothing crazy, I had no stand and shoot, we were too close. So in close combat I did another wound, then I passed my steadfast check on 8 rollable. My turn 6, I go into breakthrough, I turn around here to get into range of magic here and shooting magic here. So we will see how that goes. Here we're still in combat. In the magic phase, I cast a breast weapon on myself, which is okay. And then I was able to get Grave Call through. I forgot to mention, but the turn before when I Grave Call his Lord, I risk the 5 dice. against his 5 dice, because I felt it's a key moment. I could lose the mage, obviously, which is worth a lot of points. Not so likely, but I think it was one of those times where it's worth it to cast the 5 dice to get it through. And this time I was again a bit lucky. It was 4 dice against his 5, and managed to get that through. I put you the odds of everything because I think it's interesting. That's Gravecall, that's the Toxic Breath, and that's the shooting. I put everything at Lion Guard, thinking maybe I can get half point here, or even full point. He had 18 of them left. So as you can see, it's not unthinkable. If you sum up the high part of the green, you get to 20. So it's not unthinkable that I get 18 or half point. But I didn't roll so good. I kill a lot with Gravecall, but then shooting and Toxic Breath did almost nothing. So wasn't so good. And at the end, he kept all point for this unit. And here behind, I managed to stick again. And I kept all my points. So he didn't get half point here. Okay, that's it. So I took the Prince and he took my Vassal Cav, which is 2 points more for me. And we both got 3 scoring units into the opponent's deployment zone, which meant we had a tie on secondary objective. And it was a 12-8 for me. Post-game analysis. So yeah, deployment, I felt the right flank was blocked and way too risky. I was almost forced to play on the left due to his very extreme deployment. I chose to minimize, and I gave him I basically made the choice of which unit is exposed when to his shooting. And I think that was quite important because it's like made some incentive for him to change target. Like you see, he didn't shoot a lot. Turn 1, 2 bolter move, turn 2, another 1 move. He started shooting into the Infernal Warrior before moving to the Bastion, so it reduces even the odds of him taking the Bastion. Obviously, the Bastion could have died. You saw the odds. So he could have taken at least a half point for the Bastion. It was a bit unlucky to not take that. Blunderbuss unit, yeah, blocked effectively his advance from the Lion Guard and the single model. I think that was expected. I never had the chance. That was a bit the downside of my deployment. Never had the chance of stopping him to break through, but I think yeah, it wasn't really doable to go in front of him and try to do that with my list and how he was deployed. KG game until the tentative for the stopping my breakthrough with his single model on his turn 5. I took a small risk, which didn't pay off. Turn 5 Infernal Dwarves. I have the feeling that obviously it's a big question. It depends a lot how much wounds I do with my shooting. If he has 1 wound left, would have, I don't know if he would have taken the risk to charge into my Lugas. 2 wounds left, I don't know as well. I had the feeling that the setup of the Incarnate charging in the back, yeah, it's quite a lot of attacks. I have the grind and so on. Even without the Overlord, I think it could have been dangerous for him. So I don't know exactly if that would have been enough, but I had the feeling that the setup would have very likely hold at least the breakthrough and surviving. Turn 6 Infernal Dwarf, yeah, last tentative for me to get the point out of Lion Guard. I could have also tried to get only the breast weapon onto the archer to make him try an 8 rerollable, but I remember making a lot of wounds with Gravecall, like 8 or something, so high number of killed, and then I felt, okay, I can probably get half point here, so let's do as well all the shooting into them, but that was a bit disappointing. Overall, I felt, yeah, the dice roll were rather in my favor, I have to admit. Especially the key Gravecall against his Prince was a key moment, obviously. Got some good Gravecall on the Lion Guard at the end, but didn't matter at all. And also his bolter missing quite a lot on the Bastion. So it could have been, I think that explained this slightly luck in my favor. That explained the fact that we move away from 10-10 into 12-8 for me. And I think a small mistake for me, before the game, I should have picked the ward save spell, actually. After I maybe didn't identify what he would do, still some uncertainty in what he would do, but still with this amount of shots, I think the ward save spell would have been better than the Rot Within in this game. So small change that I would have made here, I think would have been better. We can also discuss Pentagram of Pain. But I felt, let's take the spell that threatens his single model. It's more important than the damage spell for the smaller unit. So yeah, I think a ward save spell could have taken. So overall, yeah, very interesting game, especially on the macro level. some problem to solve. I had the feeling I found the right solution all game long and made no mistake. And that's why he wasn't really able to take advantage of some situation. He tried to open the game turn 5, didn't work out. He knew that it was risky. I think we saw the odds. I mean, it's a bit 50-50 that he survives. Didn't happen. So he wasn't really able to then engage on turn 6 like he wanted to. Guys, thanks a lot for watching this battle report. I hope you liked it, and talk to you soon on the channel for other games. Bye.